one of Jamie Dixon's priorities in the offseason, obviously, he's going to continue to elevate this program, but he wanted to make sure that his staff was able to stay intact. And TCU stepped up for this guy big time. I'm so glad that he's back with us for hopefully a long, long time. The product of Hobbs, New Mexico. We got to talk about that later on. Tony Bedford joins us right now, the associate head coach.
Hey, how you doing, Brian?
How you doing?
Glad to be here.
Good to have you, man. Have a seat.
Appreciate it.
This is, folks, you're going to get to know a little bit about Tony. This is one of the good guys in the world, one of the good guys in the business. I get the sense whenever I show up at practice, which is not enough, that you love basketball practice. I mean, that takes a special – I mean, you like practice as much as the games, don't you?
There's no doubt. I've always, growing up in Hobbs, New Mexico, and my high school coach, Ralph Tasker, he always talked about bringing the right attitude every day, and he preached that. And so I took that from him and on through playing career and now into my coaching career over the years. And I believe the coaches has to set the tone.
Yes.
Every day. The players are going to feed off the coach, Brian, and that's the one thing I try to do is just bring that passion every day. And I was talking the other day with one of our young coaches. He asked me that same question. He said, "Coach, can I ask you a question?" One of our GAs. He said, where do you get that energy from every day? I said, hey, I just wake up every morning thankful for the opportunity to coach young people. And I think when you go out there, you just got to set the tone as a coach and bring a passion. And that's what Coach Dixon does. He sets the tone every day for all of us.
No matter what's going on in your world, what's going on in your mind, when your foot steps across that line onto the practice floor, boom, it kicks in, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And that's one of the things we try to tell our players. You got to block out the peripheral a lot of times. We all got a lot of stuff going on. The peripheral noise and everything that's going on. But when you're between those lines, you're trying to get better. You're trying to make your teammates better. I mean, we're trying to we got to make the players better. Our coaches, we're making one another better, but we're trying to help these guys maximize their potential every day. And that's our job as coaches.
You may have done your best recruiting job as a staff this year. Not that you went out and signed a bunch of young guys, but just in keeping everybody together.
Yeah, it's tough. With the NIL in place last year and basically it's free agency. And that's just, similar to the NBA. I mean, it's all about retainment. And we were very fortunate this time last year when the transfer portal kicked in. We really benefited. We were one program, I think, in the country, you look around, that really benefited from the portal. We lost several guys, but we were able to bring in, I call Coach Dixon, Jamie Dixon type guys.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, when I was at Marquette, Coach was at Pittsburgh, and that's when he had number one teams. But he had tough, gritty, smart players, guys that play with passion and wanted to win, and that's why his teams were always really good. And I said, Coach, we got to get back to that. And we feel, guys that had great work ethic and that were very coachable. And I felt like we were able to do that through the portal with all the guys that we added in the portal. And then we knew after the season that we had this past year, retention was going to be huge for us, Brian. We knew that we had to keep. We knew that Mike Miles and possibly Damon Ball, a couple of guys, were going to test the water, so to speak, in which we encourage. Coach encouraged that with our guys. If they have opportunities to go on and play at the next level, that's what we want them to do.
Right.
Okay, but Mike looked at the numbers. We went through the graduate advisory committee and got feedback from all the NBA teams, and they told Mike he would probably, he'd have an opportunity to be drafted, but he would improve his stock by coming back. And so Mike elected to come back, and so we're fortunate to get him back, and then Damon Ball did the same thing, and we're fortunate to get both of those guys back.
So you keep everybody together, yet you were still able to add to it. A team that had a great run in the NCAA tournament. You would think a lot of people would go, I don't know if I can play there.
Yeah.
But somehow you were able to do that.
And that was tough. That was really challenging. Now, we were involved with some really good players in the portal. I mean, guys that put up really good numbers in other leagues. And the biggest challenge, they didn't know at the time. We thought Mike was gone. He put up both feet in, and if you go, we thought he was committed to stand in the draft. And so we had started recruiting some guys, and then word got around that Mike may be coming back. So that hurt us a little bit in recruiting a few guys. But then and did the same thing with Damon, but we were able to get a quality player. P.J. Haggard, we signed early. Coach Broussard did a tremendous job recruiting him. He's player of the year in Houston. 5A player of the year, really good player that Coach Broussard did a tremendous job of signing. Then we were able to get Rondell Walker, who's played with Mike Miles and Jacoby and those guys in the Texas Titans. So that really benefited us because he can defend. He's a Coach Dixon type player, tough. Again, plays a lot of passion. So we were able to add a quality player.
You think about where you've been, and you've been in some great stops over the years as an assistant coach and as a head coach. Tell me where TCU stacks up.
Well, I mean, I think that Coach Dixon is taking this program to another level. You know, I've coached at, at New Mexico, Marquette, LSU. But I think the thing that Coach, with him coming back to his alma mater, his goal is to win a Big 12 championship, and the whole ultimately our goal is obviously we all want to win a national championship.
Sure.
We feel like teams like Baylor can do it. Tech gets to the Final Four where I played. We feel like we can do it here. Why not? We have all the resources, that great administration, great area for with players, and so I feel like that's our goal. We feel like we kind of are trajecting the right way with the guys that we have returning, and I think there's no limits on what we can accomplish this upcoming season.
You think about what Jamie Dixon has put together as far as the staff is concerned. That's the other thing that stands out. I mean, all good guys, you all get along, everybody's on the same page. Yeah. That's odd at times in basketball.
Yeah. That's tough. Yeah. That's tough, and I think that we've all. I played against Coach. When I was at Tech, obviously he was here at TCU, and we've had a great friendship through the years. And Coach, and he was at Northern Arizona. I was at the University of New Mexico. So we kind of grew up in the business together, and we've always stayed in touch. And we talked about one day working together.
Yeah.
And we competed against each other when I was at Marquette. He was at Pittsburgh. On the recruiting trail. But to be here and have an opportunity to work with him is special. And then Dwayne Broussard, who was at UCLA, who's from Houston. Was a great friend. I've known him through the years. Jimmy McNeely was with me at Marquette.
Right.
So we have a good group. Corey Santee, who's a legend here.
Yep.
Thomas Monago. So we have a great staff, and we're very lucky to have a staff and the unity that we have on our staff.
Let's go back a ways. You mentioned you're from Hobbs, New Mexico. What is it about Hobbs, New Mexico and basketball? It's a hotbed of basketball. You look over the years, and it's generational folks who've come out of there. Why is basketball so important there?
Well, that's a great question. It started with Coach Ralph Tasker, who
right.
was my high school coach, Brian. He was, at one time, the winningest coach in the history of high school basketball.
Yep.
Okay, he's in the Hall of Fame. And Coach Tasker, the one thing he made was investment in a small community. Hobbs, the population probably 30,000. But the one thing he did is from when I was in elementary school, my whole family played. My uncle played for him, my cousins played for him, we all played for him.
Right.
But anyway, he made an investment in a community from a basketball standpoint where even when we're in elementary, we're running the same system from elementary, junior high, all the way to high school. It was the press. You probably heard of it.
Yeah, everybody knows it.
Men-to-men press for 40 minutes, and so he just invested in the community. We had a summer league. A lot of teams don't do this. A lot of schools don't do this. In the summer, we have a summer league that we go in the morning. The morning league was for the younger kids, 10 to, I started 8 to 12-year-olds in the morning league. And then in the afternoon league, we bring in the junior high kids. And then he had the night league would be the high school kids. So he just had an investment throughout, 365 days a year in the Hobbs basketball. And he was just a great role model for all of us. And it was a pleasure to play for Coach Tasker. He's the reason I got into coaching.
Yeah.
Because of the way he treated us and what he did for that for Hobbs community.
When you think back on your career, and obviously there's a long time still to go, things are changing with the portal, with transfers, with the NIL. We're going to be okay? I mean, is it all going to work out okay, you think?
I think so. It's changed, since I've been in going on 30 years now. It's changed every year, like you're saying, but I think it's going to be fine. I mean, I'm for the players, the name, image, and likeness. I'm for the players getting paid. I think we got to put some parameters around it on different things, but I think it's great for our game and it's more competitive. I think you'll be able to see the quality of basketball improve because kids won't be making that jump to the NBA just because they have to make the jump. Now they can earn money in college now, which is going to be great, and I think it really is going to improve our game.
What do you do outside of basketball? You got any hobbies? I mean, because I know you live, eat, and breathe it. Like last night, I know you were watching the NBA Finals. But is there anything outside of basketball?
Nah, that's a great question. My wife would like to have me home in the yard more. But I've just been blessed. Coaching is something I've done my whole life, and I've been very fortunate to work for some great coaches and coach some great players and help guys mature through the years and just give back, because I had a lot of coaches poured a lot into me.
Yeah.
And so that's what I try to do with these young people is just try to teach them, the goals, they can reach all their goals if they work hard, have the right attitude every day, and just give great effort. You have a chance to be successful.
One of the things that I judge coaches on is, and I jokingly say this when somebody asks me, hey, would you let your kid play for him? Mm-hmm. That's how I judge coaches. Yeah. I'd let my kid play for Tony Benford.
Well, I appreciate that.
I really appreciate you coming by here.
Thank you.
Thanks for all you do.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, that's Tony Benford, Associate Head Coach here.